go ahead and record. And with that, we'll go ahead and kick things off. So welcome to the mediation team information session. We are just about to kick off our fall 22 season, which we're really excited about. But before we go into any details about that, I do just want to take a moment to introduce myself as well as the mediation team officers. So with that said, my name is Dr. Christy Foley. I am a visiting lecturer, program coordinator, graduate program director, and mediation team advisor in the UCF Legal Studies Department. I generally teach the mediation team class, although this fall, Dr. Lawrence Colin from Upchurch, Watson, White, and Max will be teaching it. And with that said, I want to turn it over to our officers for the team. So our president, Natasha, is on this meeting. Natasha, do you want to say a few words and introduce yourself?
Sure. So hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. So I'm Natasha. I am the president of the mediation team, and I've been active on the team for just about a year. So about a year ago, I was where you participants were, didn't know legal mediation was a thing, didn't have very much or any legal knowledge, but I joined a Zoom session and got involved, and I've loved every moment of it. And so I really encourage you to come with an open mind, and I hope that you will join us because we're looking to build out our team and we're looking forward to a really great semester.
Thanks, Natasha. And our Vice President, Dominique, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Dominique. I'm the Vice President for the mediation team. I joined about a year as well, the same time as Natasha. And I competed in one tournament in Georgia, and honestly it was such a cool experience. I loved it, every part of it, and I learned so much about this whole process. And yeah, I'm glad you guys are all here, and I hope you like this, and yeah, we'll see how everything goes.
Thanks, Dominique. And we also have our treasurer, Ian Gray. Ian, do you want to take a moment to introduce yourself, please?
Hi, everyone. I'm Ian. I'm the treasurer of the mediation team. I've been on the team as well for about a year. I was in 2 of the competitions. One was for Iowa, which was online, and then the other one was at UCF. Both were really cool. I really like the fun that the team offers. Also, it's really cool. You get to see people from around the country as well as from other parts of the world. And that's really cool too.
Thanks, Ian. And I noticed one thing that none of you mentioned is that you won awards at your tournaments as well. So even though you were new and had just joined the team in, August last year, at your competitions, you did really well and you won awards. So that's just one thing I do want to throw out there, because I want everyone to know that there are a lot of different fun aspects to tournaments and good resume building aspects as well. Okay, so with that said, for any of you who might be like Natasha and just not familiar with mediation before now, I want to give you a brief introduction to what mediation is, and then we'll talk about how the tournaments work and the schedule of tournaments and everything like that. So mediation is basically a process where 2 people who are in a dispute, are in a fight, have a neutral third party come in as the mediator to help facilitate conversations between them. And typically the 2 people are represented by attorneys, and typically the mediator works with a co-mediator. So you actually usually have 2 mediators working together throughout the mediation session. So this way, all the pressure isn't just on one mediator, but you kind of have a buddy to bounce ideas off of and to help you if you feel like you're missing anything and things like that. And generally, the way mediation proceeds is it starts with the mediator's opening statement, and then each party will give their opening statement. So their attorneys will speak, and they'll speak for a few minutes as well. And then you'll have caucus sessions, and caucus sessions are where the mediators meet one-on-one with, let's say, the plaintiff and their attorney, and then ask that person to leave the room, and then they meet one-on-one with the defendant and their attorney. And throughout the whole process, a mediator's job is to remain completely neutral and impartial and just help facilitate settlement discussions to try and move the parties closer toward a settlement. So the mediator doesn't make any decisions and doesn't actually impose any kind of settlement or judgment on the parties themselves. So as a mediator, you have to be a little strategic, right? You have to figure out, what questions can I ask that'll help someone see things from a new angle and move them towards settlement. You also have to have good emotional intelligence skills and things like that. And those are all things that we help you learn when you're on the mediation team and you're coming to our practice sessions. So if you feel like you don't know that stuff right now, that's totally fine. As our officers said, you know, they all joined last year. They all learned it in mediation team practice sessions. They all did really well and got awards at their tournaments. So you don't have to come in with any level of experience in those areas. And what will happen at the tournaments is that you will actually have an opportunity to serve in a variety of roles. So you kind of are acting, so to speak, in one round as a mediator, in another round as an attorney, and in a third round as a client. So every competition has at least 3 rounds, so that you get to sit in each chair at least once throughout the competition, which is really, really helpful in allowing you to see what the dispute looks like from each side. You know, the attorneys, advocates, as they're called, they have to focus more on the legal side. The clients focus more on the emotional side. And then the mediators have to stay neutral and impartial, but ask those insightful questions to move people towards settlement. So it's really fun to get to switch roles throughout the tournament. We happen at UCF to compete in an international mediation organization. It's called INADR. It's the International Association of Dispute Resolution. And they literally host international dispute resolution competitions for undergraduate and law school students. Most of their competitions take place in the fall. So in a moment, we'll take a look at the schedule for fall 22. And typically the way the competitions work is that they'll start on a Friday afternoon. Generally, they'll start with a learning session. So they'll bring in a renowned speaker to teach you something about being more effective in mediation. And then you'll have a round, generally Friday afternoon or Friday night. And then typically you'll have around Saturday morning and around Saturday afternoon, with awards being Saturday night. That's how most of the competitions run. Some of the bigger competitions do have final rounds though. So some of those do bleed into Sunday a little bit. Now, with that said, at the competition, you compete in a team of 3. So just hypothetically speaking here, let's say we had Eunice, Dwayne, and Lena, who all made up a team. So that means that in one round, Eunice would be the mediator. In another round, Dwayne would be the mediator. And in another round, Lena would be the mediator. They would also rotate through the roles of advocate or attorney and client in each round as well, so that all 3 of them got to sit in all 3 chairs throughout that single competition. And so what we do is during a competition, if we are an advocate or attorney and client, we'll be partnered together. So we'll work together with our teammate. But if we're a mediator, we'll actually be in a separate room. We'll be partnered with a co-mediator from a different school who we'll have to coordinate with and work with. Okay, so typically in each room, you basically have 6 people. You have 2 co-mediators, you have a plaintiff attorney and plaintiff client, and defendant attorney and defendant client. The defendant attorney and client are from the same school. The plaintiff attorney and client are from the same school as each other, but a different school as the defendants. And then the 2 mediators are from totally different schools, not represented by the plaintiffs or defendants. Does that make sense? I know that's a little confusing. Okay. I'm not seeing any questions about that. But the cool thing, kind of like what Ian said earlier, is that because in every single round, you have people from at least 4 different schools, you get to meet a lot of different people throughout a tournament. So it's actually a really nice way to get to know other legal studies majors and other people who are interested in mediation. Not all of them are legal studies majors. Some of them are communication majors, poli-sci, things like that. But it's a great way in every single round for you to meet people from potentially all over the world, since a lot of these competitions draw international teams. Now, with that said, for this fall, the way our competition is going to work is quite simple. Number one, in each round, you will have at least 2 judges also in the room. So while the 6 of you are sitting at a table doing your mediation, in the back of the room, there'll be 2 judges. These are professional mediators in the local community where the competition is being held. And they will be judging and critiquing you on how you played your role. So if you are a client or an attorney, you're judged on different criteria than if you're a mediator, because you have a different role. So if you're a client or an attorney, you're judged on your ability to present your case well. If you're an attorney, that means presenting kind of the legal side of things. And if you're a client, the more emotional side of things. You're also judged on your ability to articulate the strengths and weaknesses of your case, and your ability to stay focused on your interests while working with the mediators to get toward a settlement. You're never judged on whether you actually reach a settlement or not. You're just judged on whether you cooperated to some degree in order to work toward a settlement. Now, if you're a mediator, you're judged on your ability to listen. That is key for a mediator. You're also judged on your ability to help the clients and advocates see the strengths and weaknesses of their cases, which usually means asking them some insightful questions. You're judged on your neutrality and professionalism, because as I said earlier, mediators have to stay neutral. You're also judged on your ability to stay positive, so to kind of encourage people to work towards settlement, and your ability to guide parties in the direction of a resolution. Those are the things that you're judged on. And regardless of whether you're a client, advocate, or mediator, you're judged on a score from 0 to 10 in each category. And then at the end of the whole tournament, there's always an awards ceremony. And at the awards ceremony, one of the things that I love is that you have an opportunity to win individual awards, but also team awards. So let's say, for example, that Lena is an amazing mediator. Well, Lena may win #1 mediator for the whole tournament. But let's say she's on a team where the other people aren't super strong as mediators, but they are really strong as advocates and clients. They, as a team of 3, and I'm just going to use the team example that I mentioned earlier, so Eunice, Dwayne, and Lena, as a team of 3, they could also win an award for being the 5th best team of advocate clients in the whole tournament. And so you actually have an opportunity to win a number of different awards at a tournament. And just to give you an example of that, last season, UCF competed in 4 tournaments and won a total of 15 awards. Okay, so between individual and team awards, I should clarify. And some of those were, at the Georgia tournament that Dominique mentioned. We won the #1 team of mediators. We also won #1 team of advocate clients. Then we had other people who just ranked individually as some of the top 10 mediators in the competition. So it's really nice that you can be part of a strong team and be rewarded for that. But also, if your team isn't as strong as you are, you can be rewarded for your individual efforts as well. So it's a good blend of the two. Now, the mediation team is a registered student organization at UCF, so you are welcome to follow us on the UCF RSO website. You're also welcome to check out our website. That has basic information about the team. It has all of our past results from the last season, as well as our competition schedule for the upcoming season. You are also welcome to take the class because mediation team is both an RSO and a class that you can take for credit. It's actually PLA 4243. It's negotiation in practice. That's the name of the class. And it'll be meeting on Thursday nights from 6 p.m. to 8:50 p.m. at the downtown campus, I believe in room 168. And so you can either join as just an extracurricular, like just an RSO. And if you can show up to some practices, great. If you can't make it to all the practices, that's okay too. Or you can take the class. Now, if you're in the class, we do expect you to be more committed. We do expect you to be there every week, and we do require you to compete in at least one tournament. If you are enrolled in the class, that's part of your grade for the class. But if you're not sure if you want to compete, but you kind of want to check out mediation team and see if you're interested in it and see how it all goes, you can join as an extracurricular. You can come to our class sessions, which are practice sessions, learning and practice sessions. And you can, if you want to get involved and you want to compete, there'll probably be plenty of opportunities for you to do that. And if you don't want to compete and you just want to practice and kind of learn the skills and learn the basics, you can do that as well if you're just doing it as an extracurricular. Any questions about that? I know it's a little weird to have this be both a class and an extracurricular. So I want to pause there and see if you all have questions about that. Okay, not seeing any questions, although Dominique, you made a great point in the chat about following us on Instagram, UCF Mediation. So thank you for mentioning that. And Dwayne, your hand's raised. What can I help you with, sir?
Yeah, so this is an RSO that I can sign up for on the My Connect, correct?
Correct.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep. Eileen.
Hi, yes. I had a question about the times. I'm not sure. I believe you said it, but can you repeat the times that you guys are set to meet if they're already established?
Yes, so it's on Thursdays from 6 p.m. until 8:50, almost 9 o'clock p.m. at the downtown campus in room 168.
Okay. And that's the room number. Is that also on your Instagram page that I could just find or screenshot somewhere?
I believe it is, but if not, you can always look at the course catalog and just look at when negotiation in practice runs, because that's what it's a class and that's our team meeting as well. And Dominique said, yes, it is on Insta.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for putting it in the chat too. I'm on my phone, so it's a little hard to write it down, but thank you.
No worries. Yeah, you need to drive safely.
I'm parked, so we're all good. Yeah, no, I'm not driving. Okay.
And I saw Allison had a question about a certificate after completing the course or just a course grade. So there isn't a certificate for completing the course. However, if you participate in tournaments, you win any awards, or just you participate and you want to put that on your resume, you can absolutely do that. Having the awards is an extra resume boost. And then if you participate as a student who's enrolled in negotiation in practice, it'll also show up on your transcript with a course grade and everything like that. I will say for students who, participate in a tournament, show up regularly to our Thursday night practices, put effort into their practices, don't just sit there and refuse to do anything. Course grades tend to be fairly high in this class. And you can ask Ian, Dominique, and Natasha. I have a feeling they will tell you that everyone they know got a high grade in the class last year. It's not known for being a particularly rigorous class. It's more about coming, practicing, and putting forth your best effort while you're there, kind of thing. And Natasha, thank you for mentioning in the chat, we are just meeting on Thursdays, and we start the first Thursday of the semester, which is August 25th. Other questions?
This is kind of
Venus.
I just wanted to make sure that the only location for these meetings is the downtown campus this year, right? Or is
Correct.
that all the time?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yep. And Ian, were you going to say something?
yes. So I know this class doesn't offer a certificate, but it's one of the classes that does offer certificate for the mediation certificate. I forgot
is a
what
good
the
point.
specific name of that certificate is, but if you take this class, it is one of the classes that counts towards that certificate.
Thank you for mentioning that, Ian. Yeah, so there is a certificate run by the Legal Studies program called a Conflict Resolution and Analysis Certificate. So that is something that you can work toward if you take enough classes that are listed on that certificate. And this class is one of the electives you can take to fulfill some of the requirements of that certificate. So if you're working toward that conflict resolution and analysis certificate, this class could help you get there. Thank you for mentioning that, Ian. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at our fall 22 competition schedule. So we've already talked about when we meet, right? We meet on Thursday evenings. And there's the course code 4243, negotiation and practice, in case you need to look it up or enroll in the course or anything like that. And then our competitions are currently scheduled for October 7th and 8th in Gainesville, Georgia. And I promise you it's actually Georgia. I don't mean Florida. There is a small town in Georgia called Gainesville. It's at Grinnell University. And then we also have another competition October 28th and 29th in Fairfield, Iowa. It's a couple hours outside of Des Moines. And then we have a competition, a bigger competition, November 10th through 12th. This is a bigger one that will probably have final rounds. And that is in Ilsa, Illinois. And that is also actually a few hours outside of St. Louis. It might only be about an hour outside of St. Louis, actually. And then February, UCF will be hosting a competition, most likely the 10th and 11th. So that's another one to look forward to. Traditionally, with each of these competitions, the day before it starts will be a travel day for us, at least part of the day. And then the day after will be a travel day as well. So if you are looking to join the team, if you're looking to participate in any of the competitions, please go ahead, mark your calendars now, save these dates now, and make sure that you save the day before and day after as well, so that you have time to travel to each of these places. I know Dominique and Ian had mentioned that we had some virtual competitions last year due to COVID. However, this year, the current plan is for all of our competitions to be in person. So we will be doing more traveling this year, and it'll be a great way to meet more people from different schools all around the world, which will be super fun. Any questions? Questions about the schedule, questions in general about mediation team?
I have a general question for everyone regarding transportation. I know that there's a shuttle from the main campus to the downtown campus. So for those of you who maybe live near the main campus and don't come downtown as much, my question is, are you able to take that shuttle as late as 9 o'clock to get back to main campus from the downtown campus? Does anybody know the answer to that?
I think it stops running like at 10. So I feel like everyone would be able to go back after.
Thanks, Dominique. That's good to know. And Natasha, thank you for reminding us that that shuttle is an option, because I know a lot of people just don't want to drive in rush hour traffic at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. So having the shuttle is definitely a good option. Other questions, comments, anything? Yeah, Eunice.
So when it comes to competitions, I know that you had mentioned it's a travel day, so I'm assuming that when it comes time for the people who will be participating in this competitions out of state or wherever, that is as a group, correct? Or that's not individual, that's all taken care of.
So yes, typically what'll happen is that we will all travel together, at least for the most part. For example, for the Georgia tournament, it's a driving distance. It's about 8 hours. So typically we'll do carpooling. And usually you kind of just carpool with the other people on your team. For Georgia, we typically get to send 3 teams of 3. So that's 9 people total. And we all stay at the same hotel, but we'll probably have like 3 cars headed up there with about 3 people each. And then we'll all stay at the same hotel, and we share hotel rooms, generally up to 4 people per room, just depending on, you know, how many people are going to that tournament and all that jazz. But everyone stays at the same hotel, and then people kind of agree to meet in the morning at a set time so that they can either practice or review stuff before they head over to the university for the tournament, things like that. So it's very cohesive, and you don't have to stress too much, which is nice. And then for the tournaments that are further away, everyone will be on the same plane, unless someone has a really good reason to take a different mode of transportation or a different plane or something like that. And this way everyone will rent a car together and all that. And Allison, great question about travel expenses. So we do our best to cover all of your expenses. With that said, I should mention, if you are enrolled in the course PLA 4243, you do not have to pay dues. Your tuition pays your dues. However, if you are just participating as a part of an extracurricular, you know, part of the RSO, we do have a $70 annual dues payment. Okay, so we do ask that you pay that at the beginning of the semester, okay, by like the beginning of September kind of thing, middle of September. That's 70. And our hope is that that will cover whatever we need it to cover for your travel. Now, with that said, we do have a variety of funding. We are working on funding with SGA. We are working on funding with the Legal Studies Department, and we are working on funding through sponsors. We do not have a guarantee of any of those funds right now. So while it worked out last year that we ended up not needing to charge students a dime for any of their travel or, you know, hotels or anything like that, I can't guarantee that it'll turn out the same way this year. The other thing that I will just clarify really quickly is that for the road trip to Georgia, the students in each car split the gas money for that road trip. And then while you're at a tournament, your food costs are not usually covered, although I will say most tournaments will provide you with like a Saturday lunch kind of thing. But technically your food while you're at a tournament is not covered. So our goal as a team is to cover your airfare, to cover your hotels, and to cover your tournament registration fees. Does that answer your question, Allison? Okay, wonderful. Other questions?
And I'll just say, in addition to the practices and the tournaments and the practical experience that you'll get every week and being exposed to different legal questions and different cases with different facts, you're also going to get the opportunity to really be part of a community. Like we're a tight-knit community, but we have each other's backs, no matter if we're talking about LSAT studies or a professor or a different class, whatever it is. So it's really nice to have that, to be part of that community. And these trips will also be a great opportunity to really bond with each other as well and build lasting relationships. So that's one of the things that I personally really love about our team also. And we're going to be having some social events. We have one in the works, so follow us on Instagram so you can get updates on that. And we are going to work our absolute hardest to ensure that we have all the funds that we need, so that the only thing you're going to have to pay for is, like Dr. Foley said, gas if you go to Georgia and some of your food expenses. So
Thank you for pointing that out, Natasha. Yeah, I think some of the team dinners and even like breakfasts at the hotel kind of thing are really fun for just getting everyone to hang out and relax when we're on the road. And I'm really looking forward to the social events that you all are doing this season. I think it'll be great. You're talking about doing an event at Lake Claire, right? So kayak, volleyball, cook, grilling out, that kind of thing. And then also looking into some fundraisers where we can like go to Blaze Pizza and have dinner together, but also raise money for the team kind of thing. So I think there'll be a good variety of options as well for team building throughout the season. And that's all thanks to your officers, by the way. So Natasha, Dominique, and Ian have been working hard to organize those and make those happen, so that you really do have that feeling that you're welcome on the mediation team and part of the team from the get-go. Any other questions? I know we've had a few people who have just joined recently. If you want to hang out for a few minutes with me, I can give you a little summary of what we talked about in today's session. But besides that, I just want to thank you all for attending. Thank you for your interest in the team. If you have any further questions, you're welcome to reach out to me. My email is here on the screen. It's just christy.foley@ucf.edu. So feel free to let me know if I can help you with anything at all. If you choose to enroll in PLA 4243, which is the mediation team class, please know that if you haven't already taken the prerequisite, the software will not let you enroll yourself in the class. So what that means is you just need to shoot me an email and say, hey, Dr. Foley, I'm interested in joining the mediation team class this fall. And I'll go ahead and work with our advisor to make sure you get into the class, okay? So just shoot me an email if that's something you're interested in and you haven't completed the prerequisite course yet. Not a problem. I can override you right into the mediation team class. And officers, anything else you all want to say? Okay. Well, in that case, thank you all so much for joining us. We appreciate it a lot, and go enjoy the rest of your afternoon and what's left of summer before classes start.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.